now out. Talking about the confirmed list, the boys that will get the invite for the World Cup qualifiers happening in the month of September. From there, we'll talk some transfer news with how many more days to go, many more hours to go to wrap up. SAMIES and DOLAPO would give me their thought, the perspective, who are those likely heavy movers before the window is shut. 7 p.m. on the 1st of September, which is a Monday. The MPFL games will be happening this weekend also. The big one will be on Saturday. Just to put it, they save the best for the first. So the first game for this weekend will be Insurance of Benin against Shooting Stars of Ibadan. And of course, the other games will come on Sunday. So they put the best on a Saturday. And of course, the other nine will happen on Sunday. Okay, so also listen to the press conference granted today by some of the English Premier League managers, from Arteta to Hannes Lord to Ruben Amorim to Oliver Glasner, and we'll discuss the big one that happened in the last few hours. Jose had been told to go home. Now, the argument for me that I really don't understand, since it came into the English Premier League, you hear in some headlines, Jose sacked, Jose resigned. So which one exactly are we holding on to? I know some managers, there's a way you want to put the headline. Some, when you put sack, it brings something. Okay, let me go click, let me see what happened. And some will say he resigned, mutual consent and all that. So maybe the DOLAPO and SAMIES have their own English to use on the show today. The US Open, yes, result of games, but not for me, not about the result. It's about the event on and off the pitch. A few days ago, it was Daniel Medvedev who misbehaved on court. It was fine. And then that same week, there was a fight between Townsend and Ostapenko. But on the show this afternoon, Naomi Osaka will weigh in about that happened between these two girls in the last few days. Welcome one more time to 94.932 FM. Hopefully 25 minutes will be enough for us to talk and of course hear some of these gladiators on the show. SAMIES, it's a pleasure having you with me, same as DOLAPO. Finally, we have the list for the Super Eagles 23-man roster for the game against Rwanda and South Africa. Goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, I thought you boys said to me he was injured, but here he's got an invite. He's coming from Chippa United. Anas Obasogi from Singa Black Stars in Tanzania. Adeleye Adebayo from Volos FC in Greece. Defenders William Ekong, Calvin Bassey, Olaoluwa Bright Osai Samuel now with Birmingham City. Bruno Yemechi, Chidi Ozea Wazim from Nuns, Felix Agu from Werder Bremen in Germany, Benjamin Fredericks from Denda in the Belgian League. Midfielders Alex Iwobi from Fulham in London, Frank Oyeka from Brentford in London, Wilfred Ndidi now in Turkey with Besiktas, whose manager also was sacked in the last few hours. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Fisayo Dele Bashiru from Rome, Lazio Football Club, Rafael Onyedika from Club Brugge in Belgium, Kusantos Uche from Getafe in Spain, forwards Ademola Lookman, Atalanta Bergamo, Italy, Samuel Chukwueze, AC Milan, Victor Osimhen, the side of Turkey, Moses Simon, Paris FC, Cyril Dezas, Glasgow Rangers, Tolu Arokodare, and there's no place for Victor Boniface. So they have the names of players that will get the invites to be in the country for the game against Rwanda and away against South Africa. So, SAMIES, there's nothing for us to add to that one. Let's leave that list so that we'll not get into some of these things. The game is coming up in a few days, and so we'll have those time to discuss the list. SAMIES, transfer news quickly here because the days are running very fast. So, what are you expecting? Do you think will happen? Will Isak make that move to Liverpool? Will Maguire leave Crystal Palace and go join? What's that? Go join Liverpool. Go join Liverpool. Will Xavi Simons? It's been confirmed now to be Spurs. I'm always have my fear about this Spurs. When Spurs, because you are here looking amazing. I don't know what you are getting that I'm not getting. Xavi Simons, is he a Tottenham Hotspur player now, or we still have to wait so that these hijackers will not come and hijack him? And when I say hijackers, you know what I'm talking about. So, SAMIES, bring us up to speed. What have you got so far in terms of the transfer news? And then I'll come to DOLAPO.
Good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon, DOLAPO, and also to all who has joined us on today's edition of the show. First off, I'm just amazed with the latest developments before me. Facundo Bonanete, who played for Leicester City, almost joining, on the verge of joining Chelsea Football Club.
Okay, you are just saying that on your part.
On my part. Okay. I'm just saying that.
And I beat you to that one.
And I'm shocked. Like, okay, what with this guy? What was he going to do at Chelsea Football Club? Is he going to get signed and loaned out to another club side?
There were reports that maybe Strasbourg of France.
But he said
it's going to be Chelsea and not going to be French.
Yes, that's from the latest development. Just like the signed, what's his name? The former, we'll call him now, former
Pedro.
No, not Pedro now. The former Brighton player who scored the goal of the season, and that was 2 seasons ago. And Cisco,
It's going to Strasbourg.
The deal didn't go through.
It didn't go through. Okay, I know you had Medica like 3 times. Yes. I was watching. Medica was coming and going. So you felt maybe that's why they're bouncing on the Argentine now.
So they have to just make a deal with Brighton before the transfer window ends. I think that is just.
But I think for him, he's going to be a squad player. You don't expect him to jump into the team. Now that you have a Garnacho joining Chelsea, I don't think for Bonanote it's going to be one who's going to walk into the first 11.
So for other developments there in the world of transfer, I know a lot of people are talking about Isak, Johan Wissa. Where these guys are going to end. That's at the summer window. They're going to join the clubs in which have been in conversation to get their signature since the open of the transfer market. But that is still left to be seen. We'll see the next 3 days what would happen there in the world of transfer. But for some players now, they are making the move. Alejandro Garnacho, well, it is said that he is close to now. Let's say it's not confirmed yet, but he will be a Chelsea player. And then Kostas Tsimikas, who is more like the third choice left back now for Liverpool Football Club. He is also on the verge of joining AS Roma, and then we'll talk about some other players.
If you go to AS Roma also, I'm trying to remember the Spaniard who played for Leipzig so well on loan from Manchester City. So will also be another backup to Angelino.
I think for Angelino, he can be deployed as a wing back, and also
that's what they've been playing.
Yeah, so you look at, I think they have a new manager.
Yeah.
So we look at the things,
Gasparini.
We look at the things that can actually be in place for Kostas Tsimikas, because in England probably it is the end of the road for him when they have Kekes and Robertson, who is still active, playing so well for Liverpool Football Club. And then another conversation is Donnarumma.
Okay, hold on, because if I allow you, you eat the slice, the old bread, and then you left nothing for the lap.
You look for chocolate spread.
Speaking about that, Delacpo, one name that we have not mentioned, and I'm a bit disappointed in myself and how you guys have also gone about is Ademola Lookman's future.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it. I was going to talk about the Nigerian guys, 𝐒𝐻 Arokodare as well, because he has been linked with Wolverhampton Wanderers after the deal with Christantos. Uche is not looking
even
like
Napoli.
So Ademola Lookman is another person who he has to get his future set in the next 3 days or 2 days, because if he is not going to move away from Atalanta, then it will be a big problem for him there. It is not looking like the fans will take him back. It is not fine if he gets back, get back into training.
But he didn't act like the others. Alexander Isak, Johan Wissa.
He went on a strike without the team didn't know where he was for close to 2 weeks. Nobody knew where he was for close to 2 weeks. He went online to delete everything that has to do with Atalanta from his social. So a whole lot of things, the fans would have a whole lot of issue with him. Another person is Alexander Isak, like he mentioned, Magui. I'm very much interested in how, because the manager has talked today and he's talking about he does not want him to go. With 3 days left, Liverpool is looking like a team that would need to strengthen their defense line, especially if things does not go well for them against Arsenal on Sunday. They will be looking like, with the way things are, and when you look at their UEFA Champions League draw, I'm not very sure Ancelotti would want to trust that back line with the games they have in hand.
Okay, hold on here. We're going to listen to the voice of Oliver Glasner in a minute, where he's talking about his captain. And of course, for Palace, they also qualified for the UEFA Conference League last night with the draw they got away from home. So guys, in 1 minute each here, do you see these two guys moving to Liverpool, Maguire and Alexander Isak?
I see Isak moving. I'm not very sure of Gui.
Well, for me, I see none of them actually making move to Merseyside. They're still with their respective London clubs.
But you never can tell what will happen in 3 days, 72 hours.
72 hours. Well, I know that's a lot in the world of transfer, but then we look at how they are going to jeopardize or maybe reduce the quality of their club sides.
But to know that Newcastle have signed the German.
Nick Waltman, like,
so
for 63 million.
For 63 million. So why do you want to you want to still hold on to Alexander Isak.
Remember, then they had Isak, they had Wilson. They had Isak, they had Wilson.
They still want your Wisa.
See, if they that's
and
what I'm
there's
saying.
Osula there.
That's what I'm
saying.
Osula would play maybe from the flanks or midfield, probably. And so you see, for Isak, personally for me, I don't see him moving. Maybe not this summer window. He can move in the winter transfer window, but not this summer.
You said it's not going to move. The Dolapo said it's going to move. So when we come on Monday, we've got about 3-4 hours before that window is shut. But take a listen to one man who is saying this captain cannot go. And if that captain is not going, he can speak to any foreign club in the next 4 months. But if he says he's going to leave, and then we'll wait to see what Glasner. But Glasner, he doesn't wish that he goes because he wants him to stay. Replacements is what they also spoke about. And I've also got news about the French defender from Toulouse talking to him to see maybe he's the one to replace McGay, the former Chelsea man. Let's take a listen to Oliver Glasner.
I think it's not possible at the moment to find a McGay replacement who can play straight in the Premier League, being a starter for Crystal Palace, being consistent. And when we see, I think, our foundation, or the foundation of the success we had in the last couple of months, and also the foundation of going into the group stage, is our defense. Yeah. So we conceded, we had 2 clean sheets against Fredrikstad. We had now 5 games played. We have 3 clean sheets. We conceded in just 1 goal in the Premier League. So this is our foundation. And Mark is a crucial part. He's the captain. He's an English international. He has the most Premier League experience in the whole back, and getting now the right replacement in, I think it's almost impossible.
Okay, almost. When the manager comes and say almost impossible, then on the other hand, also they will also be prepared to lose him without getting nothing. But that would be a very, very big one. Villa did everything. Newcastle did everything. Liverpool also put in the bid just once, maybe not guarantee of displacing either Ibrahim Konate or Virgil van Dijk, so there was no point for him leaving. And there's one thing that you want to give kudos to the Eagles, not your Super Eagles. I'm talking about the Crystal Palace here. Is the squad is very thin, and they've been able to go this far. Winning the FA Cup, you thought that was a fluke. They come and win the Cup Winning Shield, that was no fluke. Dolapo.
Well, for me, I think Oliver Glasner has been doing an immense job since he came in. I was not thinking he would. I knew he would steady the ship at the team, but I was not thinking he would come in and do great things. He would do wonders for Crystal Palace like he has done. He took them to the UEFA Europa League.
What was shocking about it? Because you saw what he did with Frankfurt.
Yeah, I saw what he did with Frankfurt, but with the team in Germany. And for Crystal Palace that was struggling, I remember they had the former Arsenal man as their coach, who is now at Genoa now, Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
He struggled. They had a coach again that struggled. So he came in and it changed everything, tweaked everything for the team. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, who was looking like a player that could not score goals, start scoring goals week in, week out. 𝐒𝐿 got back his form. He brought in Daniel Munoz, who turned to something else in the league. I'm not very sure if there's a wing back in the league that is playing as good as Munoz is playing. Maguire, the defense line has been good. Dean Henderson turned to another team entirely. So he has changed a whole lot of things in this team with a very thin squad, and they are still not.
Is it worse quality? Now look at the players that are left also under him. Olise left. He managed Olise.
And who was the replacement for Olise when Olise left?
Who was Daichi Kamanda?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. No, Kamanda is not even. It's not a like for like.
He's not like. He's not like. He brought Daichi Kamanda from Eintracht Frankfurt because they won Europa League together.
He brought him from
Napoli. Yeah,
from Lazio.
From Lazio. Someone else in the middle of the pack.
There is Will Hughes. There is Jeffrey Scallop.
These are not quality.
That's what I'm saying. Like you look at the starting 11. You look at the starting 11, and then you pick out some individuals whom on a good day they are threats. 𝐒𝐿 actually headlines all of it.
What is happening to the Eagles is that they are losing their best legs.
And they are losing their best legs. I'm not disputing that. But now they got
now Magai also
got a new signing
losing
who
for
is
free.
Going to replace what's his name? Pino from
Not
Villarreal.
last season.
Well, you can't say this is a manager who also knows how to use players to their strengths. And that's the one thing he does.
When Dolapo was mentioning the ex-managers for the Eagles, one he didn't mention, and he didn't mention that name, was Frank Dubois. That was a terrible one for them. Okay, so speaking about manager who don't have a job, to wake up this morning and you find out that Jose has been told to
former
go.
Manchester manager.
Okay.
Manchester United manager.
Okay. They are bleeding. There's a bleed somewhere. So when you hear that news about Jose lost his job, DOLAPO, was it sacked? Was it relief? Was it a mutual termination? What did you?
According to what Fenerbahce put us on, they've parted ways with him. But what
after 15 months.
After 15 months, what I know is that he was sacked. But they are trying to sugarcoat it and saying they've parted ways. He was sacked. And I think it is well deserved he was sacked because they brought him in to come in to take them to the UEFA Champions League to compete.
And he almost did.
He didn't do.
He cannot. Can we
say
say
want to play the game?
It's not about play the game. What can Fenerbahce compete with Gala
This is it.
In the league.
I remember
in the league.
I remember
even with the wallet, in purse, in money, in getting players. Can they do this?
I remember the season they brought in Jose Mourinho. That
last season. It was just last season.
It was not last season. The season ended
15 months ago.
The season
15 months ago.
That was last season. At the start of last season, the season ended with Fenerbahce losing out on the league with just 1 point. I remember very well. It was 89 and 90.
There was a fight. They took the game to
They
neutral
took
ground.
the game to the last day of the season, and Galatasaray won it. They felt like, okay, we are very close. They allowed the manager to go and brought in Jose like, okay, you have to come here to come and compete with us.
If
He
that
spent
one almost got it,
Yes.
with Jose's, they should be able to prove
yes,
it.
they should be able to do it.
But with someone like to them last
he
season,
didn't compete.
the point
He didn't compete
was.
for
Are
the
you
league.
also going to also look at it that last season the recruitment both club side made?
That's what I'm saying. That Gala has the big
Gala
pocket.
has the big pocket. They've gotten a better coach who can attract big players. Jose Mourinho is the type of coach that can attract players. He attracted some. He attracted a few players. And Galatasaray were lucky to have the likes of Victor Osimhen because
Can we also see all of these things we are saying? Can we also liken it to the statement by Sunday Olise yesterday saying the Turkish league is not really the best?
It's not about
Jose is a big coach. He's bigger than the Turkish league.
Because he said it during his first press conference as Fenerbahce head coach.
It just looks like my skin and all of that.
Yes, the thing he said about the league is not can't compete with other leagues. This. But let's take a listen to Jose because there's something he said a couple of weeks or months ago before he got sacked last 24 hours about if you need a manager that can pull you out, and I'm looking at some clubs that I don't need someone to pull them out. Jose Mourinho.
The best thing I have to do is when I leave Fenerbahce, I go to a club that doesn't play UEFA competitions. So if any club in England from the bottom of the table needs a coach in 2 years, I'm ready to go.
All right. So where national team should be calling him by now, or you think you still have some hope in some club football?
Just that the Italian national team, they have a coach.
Gattuso.
Nah.
Can you put so much trust in him? But hey,
We can't.
who am I to wait to see? But hey, guys, quickly here before we get to some of this press conference that happened today. Jose's future up there. Ole Gunnar Soldier also is got no job. So
Both managers who were on the verge of qualifying for UEFA competitions.
Yeah, group stage, but they could not. Fenerbahce lost to Benfica, and Betis has lost to Lausanne of Switzerland. Okay, so let's quickly move on because of time. We definitely will keep tabs with Jose and see what becomes of him. But just him to get a job this weekend in terms of being a pundit on one of the satellite TV on any of the games, and of course, at a point before Monday, Jose also will hit at Fenerbahce. Trust him, he will.
Definitely.
He will.
That's true.
He will. Chan, third place, will be played later today. Sudan will play against Senegal. The final will be Madagascar against Morocco on. Everything happens today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Third place game today.
The third place is today.
Yes,
The final is tomorrow.
Is on Saturday. The MPFL game I mentioned earlier shouldn't start against the Giants of Benin at the Samuel Ogbomoda Stadium in Benin City on Saturday. Let's talk some Premier League. And let's start with one man, Ruben Amorim. You see, he keeps saying, I feel like living. I feel like staying 20 years. Take a listen to him. And then when we come back, we'll take a listen also to Mikel Arteta and Arne Slot, who will be in charge of the team in the biggest game of the English Premier League this weekend. But first, to Manchester United.
I take on board what you're saying, but what you said, people then immediately go, well, he could walk away on Monday. It brings an air of uncertainty. Are you aware of that? Do you have to accept that as part of your emotion? That
you have to, if you are in one way, and if you have this kind of behavior, you have to understand that that is you have things that is good on that type of behavior, that you have the other side of the coin. So I understand that, and again, Sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I love to be with my players. Sometimes I don't want to be with him. So, again.
Why would you want to be with him?
Okay. Sometimes I want, sometimes I don't want to be. So, what kind of some confused statement there from the Portuguese head coach?
He's just a confused man.
He played again Burnley. If he doesn't get to beat Burnley, like, what happens?
Well, if he doesn't get to beat Burnley, I'm not very sure the United Anarchy would sack him.
They said they are with him.
I feel like he would walk away himself, because he said something like that last season, that if things are not working out, he would walk away. And yes, after the game on Wednesday, or was it on Tuesday, he said something like, the players have spoken loud. So probably they don't want him, and he'll just
Players have spoken loud. The only post-match reaction I got was Diogo Dalot, who actually spoke, saying it was a shambolic performance from the players.
What I heard from the dressing room, from what I gathered from some sources, is that the players want him to change the formation, the style of play.
I think we've been saying that also as football fans.
But it does not.
We've been saying it. You can't be rigid with your formation, and it's not giving you the result in which you want.
Okay, so let's talk about man who have got results in the last 2 games. Mikel Arteta is speaking ahead of the game against Liverpool at Anfield on Sunday. 4:30 is the time, and of course we'll have one game on Sunday night, Palace against Aston Villa. But we were talking about Liverpool against Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta is talking about Bukayo Saka. What's the latest with him? Will he go under the knife? Mikel Arteta.
Hello, Mikel.
Hi, Gary.
Bukayo.
Yeah, Bukayo is doing better, but he will be out for a few weeks, unfortunately.
What is it? Is it his hamstring?
Yeah.
No surgery required?
No surgery. It's not as bad as the previous one. Obviously, very unfortunate to pick it up. He's in the other side. It's an action that requires full power from him. Then he clashes with the opponent. He needs to change pace again, and he felt something. So he will be out for a couple of weeks.
So do you hope, and I know you don't know because you're not a doctor, but do you hope that when you resume club football, he might be available?
I don't know. Let's see how he evolves in the next few days, few weeks. Repeat the scan and see where he's at.
And with Martin?
Okay, all right. So many things happening behind in the studio. So that's Mikel Arteta's voice there. There's no point for the England international going under the knife. He'll be fine. Hopefully, after the international timeout, Arteta will have Saka back. But how about for Arne Slot? The question is not about even Liverpool. The question is about Alexander Isak. Newcastle has signed a kind of replacement for him. Take a listen to the Dutchman, and then we'll come back, get the thoughts of DOLAPO and SAMIES as we come wrap up the show.
Newcastle signed, if it's true, and I have no reason not to believe what you are saying, a new number 9. So that's very nice for Eddie, because Anthony Gordon is suspended, and Isak has not been training with the team a lot. So it's nice for him to have another number 9. We've tried to sign players that can help us, but there's no reason after the first 2 games to complain or to think we need more. But if we can strengthen the squad, then we will always try to do that if it's for the right money and it's the right player. And there are only 3-4 days to go now.
So this is a manager who is counting down to the window, counting down, and see if he's if he can get one of the best strikers in the English Premier League to his side. So let's wrap up the show with Naomi Osaka. She's weighing in about the incident that happened in this year's Women's Open, the game between Ostapenko and Taylor Townsend in that game. Okay, so let's take a listen to Naomi Osaka weighing in about the color of the skin now, and then we'll come back. I wish we can take the voice of Thomas Tuchel, but our time is fast spent. But let's talk some tennis now.
I mean, that's really difficult to say. I think obviously it's one of the worst things that you can say to a black tennis player in a majority white sport. And granted, I know Taylor and I know how hard she's worked and I know how smart she is. So she's the furthest thing from uneducated or anything like that. But if you're like genuinely asking me about the history of Ostapenko, I don't think that's the craziest thing she said. I'm going to be honest. I think it's ill timing and the worst person you could have ever said it to. And I don't know if she knows the history of it in America, but I know she's never going to say that ever again in her life. But yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. Like, that's just really...
All right, so Naomi Osaka there just trying to weigh in. There will be more games this weekend. When we come, we should tell you about that on the show Monday morning, 7:40 on Scoreboard in 15. But the pitch will be here Saturday from 3 to 5 to 6. That will have the Premier League games going on. The Manchester United against Burnley, Spurs against Bournemouth. That also will happen. And then there's a 5:30 kickoff that will see Leeds against... just trying to open the fixtures right in front of me. I know that Leeds have got a game coming up, and that will be 5:30 on Saturday. See if you can get that. If not, DOLAPO, you have said any upset this weekend?
I'm expecting one. Probably the Burnley Manchester United game ending in a draw, and the 12:30 game Fulham Chelsea. I'm not seeing Chelsea win it.
Okay, there's Leeds against Newcastle. That's the 5:30 kickoff. SAMIES, you have expect any kind of shocker this weekend?
Not really.
All the big boys to win.
All the big boys too are facing off against each other.
I was going to ask you which is big boys. We'll see you guys again when we come. Coming up is the news, and we've got some music once we're done with the news. I've done this with DOLAPO and SAMIES. I am Peter.
Get ready for radio like you never thought was possible. Possible on the Pioneer Joy Station, 32 FM, 94.9.
Here is the station admired by other radio stations.
Yes, we are.
32 FM, 94.9.
The news on 32 FM 94.9.
For the top news across the globe, 32 FM 94.9.